News Today.
This morning, it appears Russian forces are continuing to take aim at civilian targets in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calling the latest round of attacks more evidence of war crimes carried out by Russian President Vladimir Putin. As millions continue to try and escape the violence, the trip to the border becoming more difficult as the fighting intensifies. Jay Gray has been following the war along the Polish-Ukraine border and joins us now with the latest.
Residential communities continue to be the target of Russian missiles, ripping apart an art school turned shelter in Mariupol with 400 people inside. In Kyiv, homes and a shopping center in ruins following the latest attack there.
It's unbelievable. I never see Kyiv like this, like now, what is going on. We have destroyed house, bomb, sea, and etc.
Mayor Vitaly Klitschko encouraging soldiers on the front lines to hold their ground while other troops and volunteers prepare to patrol the capital city. Pressure that seems to be working. U.S. defense officials saying Russian ground troops are moving at a slower than expected pace. Chanting, "Go home," protesters seemingly turned back Russian military vehicles in the port city of Kherson. As millions continue to try and rush to safety, Ukrainian officials say more than 7,000 were rescued from the fighting Sunday on buses traveling through 4 humanitarian corridors. About 3.4 million people have now escaped across the border, about half of those children. Still, according to the UN, those refugees account for less than a third of Ukrainians left homeless since the start of the war. Jay Gray, NBC News, along the Poland-Ukraine border.
The Eugene Police Department is accepting applications for their Citizens Police Academy program. It's a program that allows Eugene residents to learn more about law enforcement and how their local police department works. The Citizen Police Academy is a 10-week-long program from April 4th to June 6th. Classes are Mondays from 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Applications are open online now, and we have that information and link available on our website. 2 men are in jail after police found nearly 6 pounds of suspected meth in their car in Canyonville. Thursday, the Douglas Interagency Narcotics Team detained them in relation to an ongoing investigation. That's when drug detection canine trappers smelled drugs inside the vehicle. Luis Pacheco Lopez of Medford and Daniel Velarde Medrano from California are lodged at the Douglas County Jail on charges of possession and delivery of meth. Businesses in Oregon's capital are frustrated about homeless camps continuing to move around the community. Megan Allison reports from Salem, showing us how the city plans to combat the issue in the coming months.
The Salem City Council tells me the chronic homeless rate in Marion County is twice that of the national average. They're now trying to address.
Lane Fire Authority spent the weekend raising money for cancer research. They participated in the largest on-air stair climbing competition to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Each member climbed 69 flights, 1,356 steps, with a 788-foot vertical elevation gain. They raised over $1,800 to support the nonprofit's mission to cure these types of cancer. Of Eugene unanimously voted to donate $10,000 to Direct Relief, working with Ukraine's Ministry of Health and preparing to offer long-term aid to those displaced by the war. Today is the last day to apply for emergency rental assistance. That's a week later than the Oregon Department of Housing and Community Services originally planned. This is because of additional federal money that was not used in other states. The state agency in charge says it's received more than 24,000 applications since January. After the state allocated an additional $100 million, the state anticipates the newly available $16 million will help more than 2,000 households. Oregon Housing and Community Services say it'll begin processing and paying out 2022 applications as early as this week. One person was killed and 28 injured in a mass shooting Saturday night in Arkansas. The event was a car show in the small town farming community of Dumas, ironically planned to promote nonviolence. 23-year-old Cameron Schaffer was killed, according to police, and at least 6 of the wounded were children under the age of 18. Dumas is a small town about 80 miles southeast of Little Rock.
It's shocking. We have a small community, a farming community in Dumas, 5,000 people, and then we have an incident of multi-victims. It's just, you don't expect that from small town Arkansas.
State police say they do have a suspect in custody, but others may have been involved in the shooting. It's now 5:18 this morning. Still to come on NBC 16. The city of Mariupol is refusing to surrender today, even after the bombing of a building labeled huge letters children. The U.S. is stepping up its efforts to help. Amy Kiley reports President Joe Biden is holding talks today with European leaders. He's traveling to Brussels later this week and then to Poland.
Убивали всех людей. Это сволочи, это гады, блядь, паразиты, блядь.
Russian President Vladimir Putin seems undeterred by increasing civilian casualties in Ukraine.
This is really disgusting.
This week, the White House is expanding its efforts to help. President Joe Biden is holding a call with European leaders this morning. Then he's talking with American CEOs about the war. On Wednesday, he travels to Europe for an emergency NATO summit. He'll visit Warsaw, Poland Friday for talks with that country's president about Russia's war in Ukraine. And he's got another invitation.
Why don't he can visit Kyiv next week as a symbol of our solidarity?
The Ukrainian capital is a war zone right now, so Biden does not plan to stop there. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has his own ideas of what he'd like in the president's agenda.
So what I'd like to see the president do is to reassure our Eastern Bloc allies.
The Ukrainian people are begging Biden and the U.S. to offer more support. The besieged city of Mariupol refused Russia's demand to surrender today. The Ukrainian president says he's ready to talk to Putin at any time, but he's worried if talks fail.
That would mean that this is a third world war.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
As the war in Ukraine takes a brutal turn, Oregonians are continuing to show their support for Ukraine. Yesterday, the Nativity Ukrainian Catholic Church held a prayer service at Springfield City Hall. Yesterday, they held 2 prayer services, a prayer for times of war and the Panahida for those who have died in Ukraine. People gathered to sing hymns and speak out against the violence. NBC 16 spoke to some local Ukrainians who say events like this help keep spirits up.
Personally, it gives me some peace in my heart. I feel that I'm doing whatever I can from here, from being that far away, almost on the opposite side of the planet.
Both of us became here.
Both she and her husband, Andrew Shular, say they are donating to non-government organizations, as well as keeping tabs on loved ones still in the country. Starting off with mostly cloudy skies, wet conditions across the region. And it's until tomorrow we start to see those spring-like conditions, more sunshine. Temperatures projected to reach the 70s and the 60s.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh,
tomorrow is looking so good. Today, not so much. Be careful out there. Visibility definitely being impacted this morning on your commute. But yes, we do have that beautiful payoff tomorrow, so that is some
Looking
good news.
forward for that sunshine. Thanks for joining us here on NBC 16 today.
More news in 25 minutes and anytime on NBC16.com.
Join us back here tonight for NBC 16 News at 5 and 5:30. Have a great day.